I don't know what it was. Do I like lanyards? No. But I put a hole in all of my knives. Yes, that's exactly how it works, Nico. So basically what I was saying was, you have to go find their video on their channel where they announce the opening of the giveaway and comment. So you have till, like, I think tomorrow evening. And that way, I have one knife that has a lanyard. You shouldn't need a lanyard for most knives. This one has got a deep carry pocket clip. Bingo, my Sebenza has one, and it's only because it came with one. And then I had a guy that made a lanyard for me. I was asking if it was a Sebenza. And the guy didn't have the money to pay me for some sharpening, and I understood his situation, and he said he had an actual Chris Reeves bead and asked if I would take that and trade. And I said, well, tell you what, you tie it into a lanyard for me and I'll take it and trade. And that's what we did. And I changed out the original Chris Reeves lanyard. So Frank asked, what's my least favorite steel for sharpening? Yep, Vinny, you're absolutely right. I would much rather spend time messing around and trying to get the angle right on a piece of 20 CV or 3V, 4V, M390, any of those high, high alloy steels that are pretty abrasive and impact resistant, things like that. I would much rather work on that than take a cheap piece of steel, like a garbage knife, and have to fight the apex, because you're never going to get it good. It's just going to go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. I don't know. What was the one? I don't like S30V. Yeah, 30V, it chips. Any tips on anything on an Emerson? Okay, here we go. So, DS Nugget, Nugget. I haven't seen one knife that has a lanyard that makes it look better, maybe more ergonomic, but I dislike the look of them. I just think they get in the way, to tell you the truth. Vinny says shit steel sucks. He's absolutely right. A-Ray said anything on Emerson. I like 154 CM. That's what's on Emerson's. Any tips on sharpening D2? D2's not that hard. It's the same as sharpening everything else, pretty much. And Frank says he has issues. Yeah, I have issues. Frank said he had issues with that 30V. DS Nugget, what's my opinion on CPM 20 CV? It's the only thing I use in the knives I make. And it's stuff that are in all of the Ferrum Forge knives, so it's awesome stuff. It's great. And then Vinny says, yeah, shit steel. S30V from Spyderco is chippy. And I think it's because they grind it thin. S30 isn't bad. What stones do I use? I use the same stoves. Yes, it does. You can tell me it doesn't chip. But Bird and I have both talked about the fact that on certain knives, it chips. S30V gives you it gives you the bad parts of a super steel with none of the good parts. Dealt with sharpening my day for a G. Yeah, 20 CV. I mean, I sharpen a lot of knives, Vinny. I'm telling you right now. You get all the wear resistance, none of the edge retention. All of the hardness, but none of the impact resistance. I'm telling you right now, I don't like any, really, of the S-series steels. S30, S35VN, S120, S90V. I don't like any of them. if you want to know the truth. But if I had to pick one to say that it was my favorite of the S series steels, it'd be S35 VN. So I got a cancellation on a smoke on a kid. M390, hard to sharpen, holds an edge forever. I mean, for some people, S110V might be great. I just don't like it. Frank was saying he likes M390, a 20CV, 204P, all basically the same thing. And like I said, it goes from knife to knife, company to company. You may have a batch that's good, because that was Justin Keir saying his S30 hasn't chipped. And there may be some knives that aren't going to chip. A lot of times, 100% of the time, how a steel winds up being from a company is 100% to do with the way it was heat treated. So, case in point. No. I watched the guy drop my Archbishop on the concrete. It hit the blade and it did not chip. S20CV, if it's heat treated properly, is so impact resistant. I'm sure if he had dropped it harder or further, it may have chipped. But I mean, all it did was just a little bit of marring. You could see where it hit the concrete. But I watched Elliot drop a 20 CV blade tip down on the ground. It didn't dink the blade over the tip. It did cut into the concrete though. So like I said, it's my personal preference. I just don't like S30V. I don't like the most of the S series steels. S35 VN, but that goes back and forth too. I've never had S30V that I like in anything that came out the way I wanted it. My Chris Reeves Sabenza, S35 VN, was not impressed really. It was one of the first knives I ever really got in S35 VN. A few months later, I got the WE 601 in S35 VN. Leaps and bounds above what I got out of that blade from Chris Reeves knives. So, you know, different steels done in different ways will have a completely different profile on how they react to certain things. It's much harder to sharpen that WE 601 than it is that my Sabenza. My Sabenza will take an edge right back up. Even if it's bad, I can get it up from about 600 grit and not really have to go down into the coarse stones. That salsa on had it really spicy. Reichs, everything I've seen from Reich, their M390 and everything, and all their machining that I've seen on any of them was great. Yes, I just sharpened Nico's. So that was okay. So here we go. We're Vinny Nero says he just likes steel, and I can tolerate pretty much any steel. Ryan T, any experience with S35 VN from Riyadh? Yes, I just did S35 VN in Nico's K2, and it seems on point. But a lot of those Chinese companies, like, they know each other. Like, I talked to the guys at Reich because we're working out doing my big fixed blade production style, and I've talked with them, so I've looked at their stuff. Think about Browse and his D2. I talked to Jason at the knife show for a little bit, and I was looking at his knives, and I've never really sharpened one. So I wouldn't know, and I've never carried one to any extent. I have that that K4, I'm sorry, T4, that was a gift. It's a semi-custom, but I haven't ever done anything with it, so I'm gonna have to feel it out and see how it works. I will tell you, I like, now having sharpened it and having played with it for a little bit, ZDP 189. So I'm getting comments on the previous live feed. I hope you enjoy your lunch. Blade Obsession. Blade Obsession, you back on here? So anyway, back to what this was about. Yeah, you have to go from my channel to Birdshot's channel, find the giveaway, and then enter. But I'll keep this up. We can keep talking. This I can actually, while I'm doing this, I can devote answers. I don't know, but once that got sharp on that 350 for Jeremy Morris, holy crap, it was sharp. My favorite budget brand. Well, my favorite budget brand would be Cold Steel. My favorite high end. Well, because I know the guys, I'd say Ferrum Forge, but there's other companies out, like for super high end. I think that my favorite and one that I would love to have is a Rockstead. So here we go. Let's see. Mike, I have an Ontario Center Prime. I was wondering if I sent it to you, you could consider doing a Maker's Choice anodizing on the titanium scales and clip. I can do that, Sean. As long as it's titanium scales, I won't do any engraving or anything, but I can do some mix between ceramic and ano, like Christopher Williamson does. I did some ceramic and ceramic tumble where I did pink, and then I did an orange peel on the backspacer and pocket clip for Matt, our friend Matt, and it came out really good. So yeah, I'm up for that. You just have to get with me. Now here's the thing though, if I have to do ceramic, take the knife apart, do orange peel and anodizing, you're looking at about $35 for the knife for the ano, probably about $10 for me to do the orange peel, and then like another 20 for the ceramic. I've been doing, like, if you want a mix of those two, it's probably about 50, 60 bucks, 55 to 60 bucks. So, but it came out amazing. I used pink and black on the for the ceramic, and then I did the orange peel and anodizing purple. So what do I got here? What's for dessert? Nothing's for dessert. 8. What stones do I use to sharpen that? So, that is the best steel I've ever used. It's easy to touch up. I like it more than 10V. Cold Steel, yeah, Nico said he got an 801 last week. Rockstead is great too. Yes, I don't have any dessert except I have apple juice in a Gatorade bottle. I gotta get back to work. Have a good one. I have the P108. It's amazing price point. I see Mike's. Mine's in my pocket right now. My 108. Have you seen the Satori, some Peter Ascenti? I have, but I've never gotten to have one come in. So can you use cups? Cups, Tom? What the? Okay. Mr. Trullo. Andy Will's poor guy. Sounds great. I'll email you about the ammo on the Carter Prime. Actually, if you go into any of my other videos and you see my cell phone number, the best choice is to text me. That is for, that's for you, Sean Schmidt. The best way to get a hold of me is text. ZDP is 4% carbon with no chromium to gunk it up. Steel matrix, this way it's... Yes, it does take a fine polish. So does this. This is that, like I was saying, that steel, that 14C2 C28N, which is AEBL basically. It's basically the same as AEBL. What's this? Can you use some custom designs for? like a ZDP is 3% carbon. Soft versus hard stones. I like harder stones. Okay, so Jovan, what are you talking about? Cups. Okay, so let's go back to your original. So you can use cups, Tom, on anno or ceramic? I don't understand still. You mean like this one? Yes, rake knives. I have one right here. And they're like 40 bucks. That was for you, Justin. It's getting warm out here. I would prefer for a fair and forged knife, I would prefer that you just went with Chris. He said he doesn't have a problem with me doing it because I'm going to do it in their shop, kind of under their eye. He doesn't like things. He does not like the way other people do things sometimes. So I would defer to him. I can do it. It'll be quicker because he's going to be there. What do we got here? Somebody asked for a quick quote. Mike, quick quote. How much anno on a knife the size of a P108 and a hand sharpening? So if I'm annoing specific parts, I'm charging like 20 bucks a part. If you want something like orange peel, I have to charge extra for that because that's more work. I have to take it apart and all that. So if you want the whole knife done, I'm looking at 35 to 40 bucks. I can only anodize titanium, but I can do ceramic on steel, and I can back to where'd it go? Somebody asked, can you do custom designs, anodizing, or ceramic coating? I can, but you know, then you get into it costing more because I have to shoot a pattern on it and 2 different colors and things like that. He probably would just refinish it for you. And then so I can do, somebody asked, it's easier to use a fixed system on a... so that was Andy. Andy asked if it's easier to freehand than use a fixed system, sharpening system on a 940. I don't like using a fixed system at all, so I would say for me personally, it's easier to do it freehand. Now I have a very bad connection again. So, 390, it came out great, but my sharpening bench made... are you guys getting a lot of lag and garbage? Because I'm not seeing any comments, and it tells me I have a very bad connection. So I don't know what's going on. Let's go check my router. That's what I thought. Very bad connection, and I'm inside the house, so I shouldn't be having a very bad connection. I should be, because I'm walking upstairs where my router is at. I should have no problem right now. Nope. Yeah. We're gonna check something here. We're in my office. Yeah, see, it is pissing me off. Let's check my short lag. It's telling me I have a very bad connection. Let's see here. Trying to check. All right, Petty Officer Schmidt, you send me that. I don't remember how to log into my router. Really don't. Why do I have an office? Because I own my own business. and I work with Aflac, so I need a computer. Well, it's telling me I've got 50 meg a second. So my download speed is 4980 megabytes per second, and my upload speed is right around 15. Don't know what's going on. Yeah, 4960 on download, 10.94 on upload speeds. I don't know why I'd be having a problem. I don't know what's going on. Vinny. Yeah, have an office. Here, you want to see? I have my Aflac stuff over here in my contraband box. I have my home office here, and we store stuff in this room though. Aflac paperwork on my desk for a client because I was reviewing it, and I just checked my speed. So I have an actual office. Actual office, like a grown-up person that owns a business. Does anybody want an original Xbox but the Japanese one? I got one. I have the original box. I bought that when I was stationed in Japan. So I don't know. Just take a bedroom and turn it into an office, and you can write it off on your taxes. I still have to sharpen that. I gotta sharpen this. My cat. Nah. I've never wanted all these guys that have their man caves and shit. I'm like, Yuka, that's not gonna bother me having that on. Oh, I'm bothering her. Yes, and you can mod it to play US games. The old original ones could be soft modded to play US games, or hard modded. I don't remember. There's instructions on how to do it on the internet. I have it set up so all the menus are in English. I didn't finish my burrito. Busy. Arguing with the wife. It's warming up here enough that I'm ready to take that off. So, no questions? No one has any questions. The first time that I'm able to devote I told her it doesn't bother me to have the door open because she was watching TV. And I was like, well, it's not gonna bother me. It'll help with the Wi-Fi signal. And she goes, you bother me. Well, pardon the fuck out of me. Right? You know, the best advice I can give any of you guys who've been married for any length of time? She doesn't keep me sharp. It drives me crazy. You know the secret to a happy marriage? Stay the fuck away from each other. Been married for 16 years. Do you no longer rate Seb? Huh? What? Okay, Andy, that made no sense. No, I have the best Japanese wife. Any tips for a first-time dad? Yep. Spend as much time with your kid as you can. My kid is 10 and it feels like yesterday. It's all gone. Boom. So dedicate as much time as possible to spend with that child. I no longer rate my Sabenza. Oh, I love my Sabenza. It's just not in the top. My Sabenza is currently in my... It won't ever go anywhere. I'm never going to get rid of that. Skaters. Who else got a question? Who else is here? Anybody else with questions? I'm getting ready to sharpen this. Now, I've looked online and I've seen pictures, and apparently from what I've seen, it's supposed to have that recurve to it. I don't like it. But what is that? That was a mosquito coil. He's only 8 weeks old, but he has a hard time operating a flipper automatic, so he doesn't. So can I strip off the burr of an 800 grit stone? Been trying to. Usually I have to go back to the strop. The knife. It's a Benchmade 698. So. No, I think my Sabenza for his, since I have so many other knives, they're Kimura kit. Here, well, let's see here. You guys are getting ahead of me. Mukusta knives. It's Jovan. One of the easiest ways to strip off the burr, I'm gonna show you right now, is take a wine cork, run the knife through it, feel if it broke that burr off, and then go back to sharpening. And this thing gets sharp. So, pardon me for a moment. I gotta fill these up with water. Talk amongst yourselves. Did I miss any comments? SG2 steel. No, I have not. Not used or sharpened anything in that. But hey, it's another guy from Sweden. So who was that logged in from Sweden? Jorgen! Maybe sharpen Nylock steel because I want to get the Lion steel in PM4. Nylock steel? No, I haven't. Have you having experience with crew forge feet? You know, to tell you the truth, there's a lot of times that knives come in that there's a lot of times that when knives come in, I don't know what the steel is. So Paul Robinson is in Australia. Vic the Flick. Yeah, I know Vic. I know you're in Sweden. What if the burr remains? Then get yourself something as a small stropping material and take it. I personally, if you can maintain the angle, you can do a stropping stroke on a super fine stone once and see if that takes that burr off. Because if you're not taking that burr off, that means you really, truly haven't apexed that. So if that burr is forming and you can't get it off, that means that, you guys probably see me do it. I'll do this and then I'll do one stroke on the other side and I'll feel and I'll knock that burr off. And if it's still there, then that means that that angle's not complete. That's about What bugs me is it's a hollow. I would love the Sebenza 21, flatter, thicker, like on the 25. Hollow grounds are great. Hollow grinds are great, and the Sebenza is not that thick of a hollow grind, or not that thin of a hollow grind. It's fairly thick. I mean, it really is fairly thick. It's no thinner than this knife, and this is a pretty much a full flat. Yeah, hollows cut really well. As long as you're not trying to do like heavy duty tasks. Sometimes a hollow is a little bit too thin in that middle, but I haven't ran into anything that I couldn't. I haven't run into anything for a very long time that I couldn't do with my Sebenza, even though it was a hollow. 20 CV, Benchmade's 20 CV. So, recurve, extremely tiny blade, stone. Fuck. Yeah, the nice thing about that being a hollow is what you get with a hollow, and the reasons Chris Reeves used a hollow. Let me see if I can explain this. As your edge comes back, it gets thicker and thicker and thicker. And so what happens is, as you're sharpening it, you're going to have to continue to thin. You've ever seen those blades? It just looks like it's... Yeah, where it just looks like it's been sharpened to nothing. Well... And then the sharpening bevel just keeps getting wider and wider and wider. With a hollow ground, you don't have that because it's actually thinner behind, so that every time you're sharpening, you're not having to try to thin the material. So, and then eventually it winds up looking like a Scandi grind, like Frank said. So, when you have a hollow ground, it doesn't really so much affect. There are certain knives I wouldn't want to hollow in. Something I wouldn't want a thick... I wouldn't want a thick blade with a hollow, like an outdoors blade that I would be trying to use for a lot of heavy duty tasks. I wouldn't want it to be a hollow. Very bad connection again. So I don't know. But we've been at this for 34 minutes, so maybe I'll just cut it at this because I have to focus on this. My all-time favorite, slip joint? I don't know. I saw a couple of those Hinder slip joints, the Slippets. They're pretty nice. At the knife show I saw them. So, yeah guys, until I can figure out what's going on with this, I'm gonna see how it looked. It's absolutely not fragile. Any reason for the hollow? I just explained it. It allows the life of that knife. You're not having to thin that material out. A hollow, this will continue to thicken and thicken and thicken every time you sharpen it. If you have a hollow, it doesn't need that material removed. It's thin. It's thinner behind the edge than it is at the front of the edge. So as you're not going to actually have to thin that blade. It gives you an easier way to, so you don't have to do what's called a back bevel. So all right guys, yeah, this Wi-Fi is driving me nuts. I'm gonna close this out. Like I said, this is just basically, this was intended to make sure everybody understood how the giveaway was gonna work. So what was it, Paul? Paul saying he wanted a Skillcraft. I'm thinking of one of those. I like the 601. Traditional slip. My favorite one is the one I have in the house. That was the one my dad gave me. So, all right, guys. Yeah, Oh, hey, internet's back. Well, maybe we'll leave it be. Grabbed the wrong knife. It's just about lunchtime here. Here's something funny. So the guy that sent me these knives took the thumb studs off of this Benchmade and didn't tell me in the email he sent me. And so when I opened this up, these thumb studs fell out, and one of them went all the way up under the dishwasher. Wait. Yeah, guys, I'm gonna get off. I am gonna close this because the internet's glitchy at best, and I'll see maybe about doing an Instagram feed later.